Hello, welcome to Basque Center on Cognition, Brain and Language, BCBL. This is a world-class interdisciplinary research center for the study of cognition, brain and language. Our aim is to unravel the neurocognitive mechanisms involved in the acquisition, comprehension and production of language. Next, we will show you the wide range of facilities, techniques and equipment that we use for this purpose.
Our facilities include the following resources: magnetoencephalography, magnetic resonance imaging, eye tracking, and electroencephalography, as well as behavioural labs and a baby lab, where we carry out research with babies and infants.
This is the room for magnetoencephalography or MEG studies. It is a non-invasive method used for registering cortical activity. It is used to map brain activity by recording magnetic fields produced by the electrocurrents the neurons generate when they communicate with each other. Thanks to this system, we can determine what particular region of the brain has been activated and when. This is critical for understanding the way language abilities are implemented in the brain and the relationship between brain structures and their functions.
After a brief preparation process, which helps us to monitor eye blinks, heart rate and head position, the participant sits in the scanner and performs various tasks. These tasks typically consist of reading sentences or words, listening to sounds, or viewing pictures. And these involve memory, attention, comprehension and speech functions and allow us to discover how these processes take place in the brain.
Let's continue with the tour and see the MRI scanning room.
Magnetic resonance imaging, a non-invasive procedure that allows us to obtain images of the brain circuits that are involved in specific tasks and functions, is commonly used for clinical and research purposes. This technique can also provide detailed information about brain structure and tissues. Magnetic resonance imaging works with a very strong magnet. For this reason, the scanner is housed in a special room where no metal objects are allowed. This technique allows us to measure brain activity by monitoring the oxygen level that neurons consume in different parts of the brain. In general, tasks consist of viewing pictures, sentences, words or letters. In some studies, participants respond by pressing buttons or by giving a spoken reply. To collect images of the anatomical structure of the brain, on the other hand, no specific task is required.
In order to obtain clear images, it is very important to remain still throughout the experiment. It is also relevant for you to be aware that the scanner makes noise during the image capturing, so we will provide you with earplugs and headphones to avoid any discomfort. All these machines are very helpful for our research process, but your participation is crucial for us to carry out our study. Come and participate! Behavioral studies are carried out in these soundproof booths, which are fitted out for this purpose and are equipped with computers to carry out the tasks. We use a wide range of tasks to test attention and memory span, as well as a wide range of tasks to measure both verbal and non-verbal parameters and assess participants' linguistic level.
Behavioural studies provide classic measures used in experimental psychology, such as response times or accuracy, whether the response is right or wrong. These measures are very useful since they allow us to study the mechanisms underlying our cognitive abilities. Stimuli can be visual or auditory, and responses may be given either verbally or manually, depending on the specific study. Tasks may involve viewing images, reading words and letters, or listening to recordings of speech or sounds. This
is an eye tracker, which is connected to a computer. We only need to place the chin here, and once we calibrate the system, we are ready to begin with our eye tracking experiment.
Thanks to eye tracking technology, we can track the position of the eye gaze and follow eye movements. This technique is used in research related to the visual system, including psycholinguistics, marketing, and even product design. The eye tracker measures the position and movement of the eye using infrared light and a camera. While a participant views stimuli on the computer screen, the camera records the reflection of infrared light on the eye to calculate the gaze position. Eye tracking lets us investigate the underlying mental processes engaged during reading, as well as image and video processing tasks, and can provide precise information on time-sensitive cognitive processes, such as attention, memory, problem-solving, and language. This technique is particularly useful for the study of reading. Reading research focuses on two types of eye movements: fixations, when the eye looks at a specific point, and saccadic movements between fixations, which are rapid movements that last between 20 and 200 milliseconds.
Electroencephalography is a method used for recording the electrical activity of the brain, which is generated when neurons communicate with each other. In this non-invasive technique, we use a cap like this one, with electrodes placed along the scalp.
EEG is a valuable research tool that provides high temporal resolution with millisecond precision. The specific application used in cognitive neuroscience is known as event-related potentials and refers to the average electrical pattern in the brain in response to a specific type of stimulus. Additionally, EEG measurements make it possible to detect synchronization patterns of several neural populations through the oscillations of brain circuits. The EEG technique is used to investigate memory, attention, comprehension, and language processes, and how these processes are represented in the brain.
As you can see, all tasks and tests are very easy. All you need to do is wear the cap and enjoy yourself in front of the computer doing the tasks. We encourage you once again to visit BCBL, have a good time, and help our team do what they do best: research. This is the Baby Lab, where we carry out research on language acquisition in 4 to 36-month-old babies. For example, we observe what happens in the different developmental phases, or how these abilities are implemented in the brain, as well as the influence of a monolingual or bilingual environment.
During the task, which is very short and simple, the baby sits on the caregiver's lap, who wears headphones and dark glasses to avoid perceiving the stimuli and inadvertently influencing the baby's response. The entire process is constantly monitored by the lab technicians. In the Baby Lab, we use several techniques. Near-infrared spectroscopy, NIRS or NIRS, records brain activity by measuring the oxygen saturation in the blood. This involves placing on the baby's head a special cap, which has several infrared lights and sensors. This light is completely safe for the baby. We also use electroencephalography to measure neuronal activity in infants' brains. Eye tracking allows us to analyse very precisely how the eye moves and where it is looking. This involves placing a small sticker on the baby's forehead as a reference point for the camera to follow the baby's eye movements. Lastly, behavioural studies measure children's overt responses, such as how long they look at and pay attention to a visual or auditory stimulus. These techniques allow us to examine the mechanisms underlying cognitive abilities during development.
Here, we work in the hope of implementing and disseminating all this knowledge among society. We trust this tour of the premises has proven interesting, and once again, we would like to invite you to take part in our studies. We will welcome you with open arms here in Donostia San Sebastián at the Basque Center on Cognition, Brain and Language, BCBL. See you soon!